Hey, friends! Welcome to Spirit Club, a podcast and community that is all about doing the inner work to live an aligned and, dare I say, happy life. I'm your host, spiritual guide, and intuitive, Angell Kelly, and I'm here to share my teachings along with messages passed on to me from higher consciousness. I've also got incredible guests in store to help you go down all those spiritual rabbit holes. So let's go! Welcome to the club! Hi, Spirit Club. Yes, us. Because I'm so Greek now. Today's episode is going to be an AMA, Ask Me Anything. And I've never done one of these before, not even on my social media. So that was really fun. Thank you for everyone who contributed. And also, you guys were pretty tame with your questions. So next time I expect some more spice. So we're going to talk about Greece. I'll talk about some of the things that have surprised me, what I love about it, what I miss from home, and then some questions around spiritual concepts like upleveling and what to do when one of your loved ones is exhibiting their wounds and you want to help. And if you like this style of episode, let me know because maybe I'll make it a thing. All right, let's get into it. First question, we'll start with Greece, start light. First question is, what is your favorite part of the day in Greece? So right now, I'm really loving mornings. I've always wanted to have slow mornings, and we have definitely gifted ourselves that kind of life here. So we wake up without an alarm, and then Teddy always comes over the bed and hugs me with his head. It's so cute. And then Teddy and I step out into the sun and we do a little lap around the garden to see what kind of growth happened overnight, because I kid you not, we water the garden before bed and I see the vegetables in there, their size, and then I look at them in the morning and I'm telling you, exponential growth. So maybe that's a message for us all. It can happen overnight. Anyway, so I tour the garden and then I go make coffee. We're doing it like percolator style. I'm not even sure if that's what it's called, but for any of my coffee geeks in the crowd, if you have any tips, let me know because we're new to it, but it's really yummy, make an Americano. And then I sit out in the sun, no sunglasses, no sunscreen, letting the morning sun touch my skin and eyes. And I do my Greek lesson and I listen to all the farm animal sounds. Roosters, cows. It's really special. So that's my favorite part of my days in Greece so far. Next question. What's something you've learned in Greece that has surprised you? Okay, this one's fun because so many things. I'll give you a couple. Okay, first one is when drivers honk their horn, and I'll say beep their horn because it sounds much more friendly. They're actually just doing it because they're saying hello to each other because they see someone they know and they do a little beep hello. So they're never being aggressive with their horns. And it was so funny because when we first got here, we thought, oh, they're beeping. We've done something wrong, because you're in a new country. You're like, maybe I'm breaking a law. I don't know. But then we asked our partner and he's like, no, they're just saying hello. And because it's an island, everyone knows everyone. And so they're all just saying hello to each other all the time. And it's so adorable. And Shane and I feel blessed because we know a couple people now. And one day we got a couple beeps and we were like, yes, local. Okay, second thing that surprises me about Greece. So we started off, we love rosé. We always get the house rosé when we're at restaurants. And then when we would go to buy it from liquor stores or mini markets or whatever, we would buy, like we would back home, a bottle of wine. And the experience felt so different. When we had our house wine at the restaurants, it was just really light. We'd never really feel tipsy or anything. We wouldn't get any of the bad side effects of drinking wine. No hangover side effects, nothing. And then when we would buy the glass bottles, we could really feel the alcohol and feel the impact of it. And so we realized somewhere down the line that when you go into some of the local shops, there'll be these liter old plastic water bottles filled with wine. And it's the wine made by the locals, like by the farmers, by the whatever. And that's what they're selling in the restaurants. And that is the good stuff. I know. I know you wine connoisseurs are rolling your eyes at me, but it's an experience. Okay, another one that surprises me that I don't love is the frickin' showers, okay? I wish I could show you. The showers are like in the bathroom with no real separation. There's like a little lip, which of course does nothing, especially when Shane's in there. And he's like a dog and just shakes water all over the place. So yeah, I don't know what that's about. Why there can't be walls in the shower, but yeah, there's water all over the bathroom a lot. Okay, that's just a few. There are so many. I have to stop somewhere. Okay, next question. Are you applying sunscreen regularly? This was probably asked because I'm like super tanned, which I'm loving. And to answer this question, and I know most of you are going to come at me for this, the answer is no. I am not applying sunscreen regularly, but that's intentional. So I'm in what I'm going to call an exploration phase when it comes to sun protection. And I'm approaching it like I would anything else. I am intuitively feeling into what feels right for me rather than like what is sold to me, what narrative is being sold to me. Because, the narrative that is like pushed on women that if you let your neck, face, and whatever this décolleté or whatever it's called be seen by the sun, then tomorrow you're going to look 80 years old. Like, I just don't buy into that, okay? Something feels very wrong about that. The sun, what is more natural than the sun? And it is such a blessing. And yes, too much of anything is too much of anything. I'm not contesting that you can't have too much UV exposure. But anyway, so I'm trying to feel into what feels right to me. And rather than religiously using sunscreen and sunglasses to block my body's capability of producing melanin, of producing what it needs to protect itself, I'm just feeling into this. So I'll tell you what I am doing, and I just want to be clear. This is not advice, okay? This is Angell's experiment, Angell's intuition, and you use your own discernment about what's right for you. But I'm going to tell you what I enjoy and what's working so far. So first of all, first thing in the morning, I allow my skin and eyes nude exposure to the sun when it's not at its strongest so that my body can increase its melanin exposure. I also watch the sun set almost every night without sunglasses. And then I try to keep my hydration up. Who doesn't? We love water. But not just with water, electrolytes, of course. We love Element. We're doing a lot of watermelon. We started doing watermelon smoothies. Oh my God, so good. Hydrating foods, like, have you ever noticed how hydrating a Greek salad is? I feel like that is not a coincidence. And then as far as what I'm doing on my actual skin, if we're out in the middle of the day in the hottest part of the sun, then yes, I will put this homemade mineral sunscreen that we made that has zinc oxide in it. Or I'll put coconut oil, which has some natural low SPF, or I'll cover. And then in the evening, after sun exposure, I'll put aloe with some body oil on top. I'll also dry brush periodically. Yeah, that's what I'm putting on my skin, and then focusing on internal UV protection and just general healthy skin internally, with supplementing with astaxanthin, omega-3s, internal vitamin E, and collagen. So that's what we're doing so far. And honestly, so far my skin, I've had a sunburn literally once. And this is a very hot country, and I come from Canada. So it's pretty amazing what the skin can do. And I would say my skin is kind of the healthiest I've ever seen it. So I don't know. Talk to me in a year. Maybe my story will change. Okay, last question about Greece. Is there anything in particular I miss about being home? Oh, Well, I miss my people, of course, and always. Um, I would say I miss knowing how to do basic things. Like, when you move to a new country, everything, every little thing, registering a vehicle, dry cleaning a piece of clothing, purchasing something online, paying a parking ticket, LOL, if you watched my stories on that. It's all new and you have to start over and learn how to do it all. And you don't speak the language. So you're also like kind of fumbling through that. Fumbling? Stumbling. Anyway, so I kind of just miss like knowing how to do stuff. Um, but yeah, I miss alone time. And that's nothing against Shane. I love Shane. We are such a great team and we really enjoy our time together. That being said, back home, we had our own lives. We had our whole like 30 plus years of lives that we built up separately. And so, whereas here, our lives are kind of on top of each other. And I think, over time, we'll build more and more of our own lives and autonomy. But right now, it's very kind of one and the same. And I'm a Cancer. I like my little curl into my crab time. I miss yoga. I miss yoga. There is some yoga on the island, but it's not a big deal. It's not a big thing here. Like, it kind of only runs during the summer months when the tourists are here. And it's only first thing in the morning. And I'm like, that sounds like an interruption to my slow mornings. So we haven't been going. So those are just a couple things that I miss about home. Okay, let's get into some more spiritual concept questions, starting with, and I think so many of you have felt this. I know I've felt it at one point. Question is, what to do when someone in your life exhibits wounded patterns and you want to help? Yeah. I mean, I think that so many of us feel this because, like anything, when you start to do the work on yourself, the inner work, spiritual work, you're on this path and you're seeing results in your life, of course you want that for the people around you, obviously. And it is always easier to see someone else's patterns than your own, always. Um, However, the first thing I would say is, let's say this is a friend. Does this friend want your help? Do they want your help? Do they want change? Because if the answer is no, then forget about it. Forget it. Do not even try. Um, yeah. What I would say is, I can hear you guys saying, yeah, but it's so hard for me to be around them. Like they're so in their wounds. I get it. So you kind of have two choices. Either you accept them as they are and you let go of any dream of trying to fix them, or you don't have them in your life. Those are kind of the options. I know that life is not so black and white, but just think about it. Now, if someone is asking for your help, I think you approach that like if anyone were to ask you for advice on anything. If they're asking you for advice on a car, they're asking for it. So you can share your thoughts, your reflections, your opinions, and be very unattached to the outcome. Like, don't expect that they're going to follow your advice, believe what you say, do the work. You know what I mean? Like, if you're telling them and you have that expectation, then it's going to create some tension. And the thing is, just because someone's coming to you for advice doesn't mean that your advice is the right path for them. Who are you to say? Who am I to say? Some people really need to take that journey and do what they got to do. So you got to be really unattached to whether or not they're going to follow your advice. And finally, I want to add that, and this isn't to say that you are any better than your friend or loved one, but know that like how you live your life and the results that you get from doing the work on yourself will be seen, will be witnessed by your loved ones. And I would say, in my experience, that is the biggest influence that you can have on anyone who is really in their wounds or has a lot of healing work ahead of them, is to lead by example. Okay, next question. Do you think up-leveling involves an aspect of grieving your old self? I would venture to say that up-leveling always involves letting go of a part of yourself. I would say 100% of the time. This is kind of what we call ego death. So if you think of up leveling as expanding into what we'll call a new realm, a bigger energy, a little scary, uncomfortable realm, then the part of you that kept you where you are, where you were, has to go. The part of you that kept you smaller or at that lower level cannot come with you into the up level. So the sooner that you can consciously identify what that is, what part of you can't come, the sooner that you can grieve it and consciously let go of it. When you don't have consciousness around that, you're probably going to cling to it and therefore possibly self-sabotage and not up level. I hope that makes sense. And along the same lines, we have the question, tell me why up levels become more challenging as we ascend more and more. So my initial thought on this is that I don't personally resonate with the fact or with the question that up levels become more challenging as we ascend more and more. But I do believe that they require more courage and deeper levels of healing. So more courage and deeper levels of healing can appear more challenging for sure, and for some might be more challenging. But I also think that as you continue to up level, you will gain a skill set around up leveling and you will be stronger. Like lifting weights, you will be able to lift bigger weights of up leveling, and therefore it won't feel as hard. So for me, for example, when I'm going through an up level and I recognize, I know the patterns around it. I have a sense of what's going to go on. I still have an ego death. I still have grieving to do, but all of it is easier because I've experienced it before. I have trust and I know what's on the other side of it is more magical, more aligned. And therefore, I don't feel like it's more challenging. I do feel like it requires more and more courage from me, though. So those are my thoughts on that. All right. Final question, and I love this one, and it is, how do you trust the process? So I would say trusting the process is a combination of having strong trust in yourself and trust in God, the universe, higher power. And that's because generally when we're doubting the process, okay, let's go before that. When you are in a process, that's because sometime before that, you made a decision. Yes, you made a decision. Now you're in the process. So self-trust, if you have strong self-trust, then when you're in the process and some doubt comes up, you've got self-trust to fall back on and go, oh, no, I trust myself who made that decision. I may be feeling a little bit of doubt right now, but I can fall back on the angel that I trust who made this decision. And then trusting the universe. So when you're in the process and some things, maybe you're reaching some obstacles, stuff like that, you'll have the resilience to say, I know that I'm meant to be here. And if it's not it's not meant for me to continue this way, I trust that I'll be rerouted appropriately. So trusting the process, having the strength to do so, is a combination of your trust in yourself and your trust in God. Okay, that's it for today. That was super fun. I loved it. If you guys liked it, let me know in the Spotify comments, YouTube comments, wherever, a review, and I will do another one soon. Okay, until next time.